Transforming fear to be courageous. Transforming fear to be courageous. An icebreaker, Mr. Larry Jefferey.
Yeah, Larry.
Good evening, Toastmasters and distinguished guests. I want you to picture this. You're about a mile out to sea. You're floating in the water all by yourself. 30-mile-an-hour winds are blowing you further out into the ocean. What do you think you'd be feeling? A little scared? A little terrified? I can tell you standing up here right now makes me feel a bit scared and terrified. And I want to be able to be comfortable and confident and courageous up here. Embracing our tribe of transformation, I want to transform into the courageous person I know I am. I've always thought of myself as an outgoing person. I've always been very social, very adventurous, but I do have a shy side to myself. The shyness over time has transformed into what feels like an insecurity that I really want to rid myself of. Now I want to share an experience with you all that just happened to me prior to Thanksgiving. I went on a surfing trip with a couple buddies out of San Diego. And as it goes, I woke up in Laguna here at about 3:45 in the morning. I crept through the house. My wife and children were sleeping peacefully. I had the coffee on auto brew, my boards in the car, and I was ready to go. So everything was starting out great. I arrived in San Diego at about 5 a.m. and we depart the harbor almost immediately on my friend's boat. We headed due south into Mexican waters in the dark, and so the adventure really begins. About 45 minutes later, we approach our destination. The plan is to anchor outside the lineup, just beyond where the waves are breaking and paddling from there. It's kind of a routine operation. A couple things to note. First, the reason going to this particular area is it's known to have the offshore winds that funnel through the area regularly. Meaning the winds tend to blow from inland out to sea. And this cause and effect both grooms the waves and helps them stand up, creating some really good surf to ride. Secondly, we threw a little caution to the wind this day. The offshore winds were predicted to be blowing a little bit harder than normal, but we thought we could squeak in a few hours in the early morning and be out before the winds really picked up. Upon our arrival, the winds were already blowing about 10 miles an hour. Now that's both good and bad. But at 6 a.m., we really didn't want that much wind blowing. The waves, however, were looking really good.
Nice.
And at this point, we set the anchor, put on our wetsuits, waxed up our boards, applied a little sunblock to the nose, made our final preparations to head out into the lineup. I'd also started to notice that the wind had steadily been increasing now to about 15 miles per hour. Still manageable to surf, just the little voice in the back of my head told me I needed to stay on high alert today. We paddled the lineup and noticed the current was pulling pretty powerfully up the beach. And after a few minutes, I took my first wave. It was fun, just kind of a warm-up wave, nothing special. It also happened to be in the same direction that the current was pushing. So when I kicked out of the wave, I was nearly 100 yards north of where my friends were. My location in the water, not that big of a deal, but what is though is that I turned to kind of see where the boat was, and it looked like it was about 5 times the distance from where I was. I began paddling in the direction of my friends against the current and watching the boat a little closer now. Realizing the wind had picked up even more, it was now blowing about 20 miles an hour. You can still surf in those conditions, it just makes it a little bit harder to see as you're paddling into the wave. After a few more minutes of paddling, I stopped, surveyed my location, of my friends, and the proximity of the boat to them and to me. Bad news had just set in. The boat was definitely going to sea. This means the anchor did not hold against the force of the winds, which is now blowing probably 25, maybe closer to 30 miles an hour.
Wow.
And the boat was now being blown out to sea. My friends were at least 150 yards south of me in the lineup, and the boat was moved rapidly out to sea. Yelling at them was useless. The wind was too strong. They wouldn't have heard me. All I could do was wave my arm, try to get them to notice the boat, and go from there. I didn't get their attention, I don't know. I had one choice but to make, and I was to put my head down and start paddling as fast and as steadily as I could to try and catch the boat, knowing it was not going to be a sprint, but a marathon if I was actually going to be able to catch it. I paddled for about 10 minutes and then reassessed where I was and the progress I was making. I knew I was making some progress, but it was slow, and I had to rationalize to myself. I had a long way to go, and nonstop, continuous paddling to catch the boat if I was even lucky to do so. I tried to remain calm and focused, but my mind wandered a couple times thinking about what might be swimming underneath me or around me, or if I could even maintain the paddle strength I was exuding. I also had no idea where my friends were. This is a very serious situation, and I could not let it get the best of me, and I needed to be very courageous. Think about this for a minute. The wind's blowing 30 to 35 miles an hour. There's no turning back to shore. I wouldn't have gone anywhere, and at this point, I'm probably close to a mile out to sea.
Oh, wow.
Fortunately for me, I'm extremely comfortable in the ocean, and I had the resolve to do what needed to be done, and now is to get to the boat. Head down, arms moving at a steady pace, my mind laser focused. I kept paddling. I was determined to get to that boat. I needed to. For my family, my two friends, their families, there was absolutely no alternative. Getting closer, realized it took me probably about 45 minutes to reach the boat. What a relief. But the job wasn't done. I still needed to get on the boat, which was rocking violently, and then find my friends. On the boat, I needed to start the engine and get the anchor out. Raising the anchor became a bit of a challenge. At one point, I actually had to crawl out on the bow of the boat and pull it up by hand. Now I need to locate and rescue my friends. Looking into the gusty winds and over a huge area of open ocean was extremely nerve-wracking. Miraculously, I see my friend waving his arms in the distance. I navigate over and pick him up. And with a little luck, we're able to locate our other friend shortly thereafter. Heading north, within about 10 minutes, we're out of the chaos. And just like that, I'm now feeling a little more comfortable, a little more courageous about being up here. Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow, how many think Larry should take up basketball?
Nice. Oh my gosh.
We are